Hello and warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar continues to remain at the center of a controversy, especially after the video clip which became viral of him pulling the hijab from the face of a Muslim woman Ayush doctor. Now, the incident happened on December 15th, and till date, there is no apology from the chief minister. He doesn't even realize, apparently, what he has done was absolutely wrong. It was against the dignity of any woman. Now, in the meanwhile, what has happened is that there are countrywide protests from various progressive, liberal, and women organizations who view this as an attack on not only the woman's bodily autonomy, but also the woman's integrity. In fact, Iltija Mufti has written a letter to the police seeking registration of an FIR. Now, the doctor at the center of this controversy, Nusrat Parveen, she has refused to accept the appointment letter which was given by Nitish Kumar, because this was supposed to be the event where the appointment letters were being distributed to various Ayush doctors. So Nusrat Parveen has refused to accept the appointment letter, despite the fact that her family, her brother, and others in the family have been saying that it's not a big deal, and it wasn't done with a bad intention. But she has so far not accepted the appointment letter. Now, if you look at the BJP leaders, how they have responded to this controversy, BJP Minister Giriraj Singh and ally Sanjay Nishad have brazenly defended Nitish Kumar, saying that what he has done is not wrong. Giriraj Singh goes to the extent of saying that when you have to go for your passport, you do take off your veil, and then how do you stand before the camera? When you go for your Aadhaar, how do you stand before the camera before the veil? So that's what he says. And then he also speaks rudely in a bite which was given to the reporters on camera, where he says that whether she accepts the appointment letter or goes to hell, he even says that. Then, if you talk about Sanjay Nishad's statement, which he made to one of the male reporters, and mind you, that male reporter equally was laughing and smiling and giggling at that incident, and Sanjay Nishad saying that it was only a veil which Nitish Kumar tried to touch upon and tried to remove. He didn't do anything else. So you can imagine the brazenness with which this entire incident is dealt with. And no sorry, no apology. But the big question is that should Nitish Kumar step down after this hijab controversy? Will sorry be enough? Because many people have been saying that at least he should apologize. So is sorry enough? That's a question we are asking today. And we have with us a power-packed panel today. We have activist Tara Rao today. Thank you so much, Tara, for joining. We have Sujata Paul, who's the Congress spokesperson. Thank you so much, Sujata, for joining. We have Shaira Naeem, who's a senior journalist, political commentator. She joins us from Lucknow. Thank you so much for joining. And TK Raj Lakshmi is a senior editor of the Frontline magazine. Thank you so much, Raj Lakshmi, for joining. And I'll begin with Tara. Tara, what do you feel about this entire controversy? It seems the manner in which the BJP and its allies are defending Nitish Kumar, uh, it seems that nothing has happened. Oh, it's not a big deal at all.
I mean, we go on getting reconfirmation over the last decade at least of how women are viewed generally, and the kind of behavior that is made acceptable, normalized, just move on, and it's women who pay the cost. And somewhere I feel that even we forget that we are 50% of the population. So I feel, I know our tolerance levels are so high as women because we have had to cope with so much to allow the world to go on, that we just keep accepting a lot. I think the absorption power of women is tremendous. But I feel that these are also opportunities where, and since things have, been dismantled and destroyed to such a great extent, just as a functioning democracy, that we as women need to be that voice that actually lifts this issue up as a symbol of what is so rotten, what has gone so badly rotten in our system. This is not just a women's issue, first of all. I refuse to accept this as something. This is about how a society has been abused, has been spat upon. I mean, if you look at that video, it really shakes me. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking of it. The way her head shook, just look at the physical side of this. The way he yanked, with an intention. Ye nahi ke, I mean, first of all, to bloody go there is a ridiculous situation. But the violence in that action is a violence that we should we should actually condone as a thing that has happened to us as a society. Why should women be treated in this fashion as as part of the wider fabric of this country that wants to remain a democracy, that wants itself to remain with its integrity, seeks a sense of accountability from its elected leaders? I think this is a broader issue, because otherwise we will reduce it down to, oh, okay, so the women will handle it. This can't be that. This moment cannot be that, because there's a lot more that is rotten,
No, but
and
the
this
manner in which,
rottenness is
Sarah,
part of that.
Sarah, the manner in which it is being justified. Now, look at the alibis which are coming. Oh, Nitish Kumar, he's not in his senses. He doesn't keep too well. Oh, he's a buzurg, or he's an elderly, or he didn't do it with that intention. Now, those kind of comments which are coming up to justify that act. What would you say to that, very briefly, and then I'll go to Sujata.
Yes,
Yes.
so I think the whole thing is about, that women can pay the cost. I'm not interested that, it's okay, because theek hai, ab now one woman is just paying a little. Kya usme? Choti baat hai. This choti baat hai, that everything that is related to a woman in whatever fashion can be actually demeaned, can be reduced to nothing, meaning the woman is reduced to nothing. That means 50% of the population is reduced to nothing. So that, as part of the broader, and for me it is that the broader strengthening, the pushback on we want our democracy to survive, this is part of that broader narrative and that broader argument of why we should all be standing up. And this is not just about women saying, what are you doing to one of us?
Absolutely. Okay, so Sujata, now a whole lot of protests are happening, but all these protests, all these voices which are coming out on the street against Nitish Kumar seems to have fallen on the deaf ears. And what I'm told is that apparently, because she refused the offer of the appointment letter, apparently Jharkhand government has also offered that you can come and work there in Jharkhand. Now, what kind of a step should be taken to assuage the fears of someone like Nusrat Parveen? What she has done is worth an eology. She needs to be told that what she has done is something she should feel proud of. But instead of that, look at her own family. I mean, I'm not condemning because that's a personal relationship with a brother or whatever. But within the family, how much support is she getting from within the family? Because if she's told from within the family that, look, it's not a big deal, she's been told that no, no, no. In fact, the family members should have come and encouraged her to do that. But despite that, she had the guts to refuse the appointed offer. So, what would you really say to that, Sujata?
I'll come to the family part later. But we live in a constitutional democracy, and a democracy like ours has not only to do with votes or elections, but it also has to do with restraint and discipline, which creates limits for those who are in power. But what is the powerful doing today? The powerful is not exercising restraint. In fact, it is encouraging people to demean women, to create fear amongst women. And you and I and everybody else on our panel, and today's younger girls of 17 and 18, or even lesser, maybe, they have been fighting this battle, which must have begun before us, and which has continued through us to them. So what are we trying to do? Are we trying to empower our girls, or are we trying to create fear in them? When a man in a powerful position like Sanjay Nishad says that agar kahin aur chhu liya hota, to kya hota? If he had touched her somewhere else, how dare you? I mean, Article 21 in Puttaswamy judgment clearly has been quoted as saying that you have bodily rights and you have the freedom
No,
to.
wait, Sujata, let's forget the legalities for a second. Assume that Sanjay Nishad doesn't know anything or whatever the judgments have said. But the very act of smiling and giggling and talking to the reporter and saying कि अरे हिजाब ही तो छुआ था. I mean, what would you
Yeah,
say to the mindset?
no, clearly he doesn't understand the law. I'm not trying to explain the law to him. I want that young lady to remember that she is a survivor and she is a strong girl who has been able to stand up to those in power. And I do understand completely, because the community that she comes from, the religion that she belongs to, you must also look at the other perspective, because the family is definitely going to be under pressure. And that is why they must have told her that you better come back. And if they are trying to underplay it, it is only for their own safety, I'm sure. But who is Sanjay Nishad to pass comments like that? Who the hell is Giriraj Kishore or whatever his name is to say that Jhannu mein jaye? Ye कानून का राज है. What कानून is this? Is it the कानून, the law of the BJP, Giriraj, that you can touch a girl? Even if I'm wearing a jacket and someone touches me, I get goosebumps. And when you're talking about a young girl who has come out, who is, who is getting an appointment as an Ayush doctor, can you imagine the struggles that she must have faced? The struggles that all of us have seen. So clearly, when we see what is happening today, it is the misogyny and the patriarchy which these people want penetrated into our system. And that is why it is important for these people to be called out. And these people are the ones who want girls to be scared, who want that women should remain relegated. And even in the corridors of power, they want to send out a message that if we put you in a place of power, then we are the ones who will be responsible for putting you there. You have no capability. This is what they are trying to tell all of us. And it is not about party politics, please. Whether it is the BJP, Congress, anyone. Any woman must understand this and come out and speak up for not just that girl, but for herself and for her future generation. So clearly, this has to be condemned in the highest manner, because these are very low terms. But I wonder where the Mahila Commission, the Women's Commission is, because I can't see them. Should they not have come out in the open and spoken about this? And when you talk about this gentleman being old and buzurg and all that nonsense, we have always grown up, being told that if some uncle ji comes and touches you, if somebody elderly comes and touches you, you must say no to that person. You must tell your mother, you must tell your father, and you must make sure that nobody touches you. And a father, even let's come to the Indian context. In Indian families, you see, you don't see too much of hugging by fathers. And of course, it's not like there's anything wrong with it. But what I'm saying is that there is a restraint is exercised as girls grow up, because you want them to understand that they're, bodily, they are very strong, and they should understand that nobody has the right to touch them. But if nobody has the right to touch them, somebody in a place of power can touch you, can pull your hijab, can pull your ghungat. How dare you? Everybody has the right to live the way they want to. And if she doesn't want her face exposed, Nitish Kumar should not have tried to do it. And he has not asked for forgiveness. And if he is incapable of being in power, incapable of understanding all this, then he's clearly incapable of being in power. Should he not be booted out if he is indulging in this kind of act?
Right. Shaira, I'll come to you now. Now, had this kind of an incident happened in a corporate setup, now imagine what could have happened. I'm sure that person, there would have been a complaint of a sexual harassment against that person. He would have been asked to stay at home, not to come to office at all, because that's what happens when there is a sexual harassment case. But here he continues to enjoy the power of being a chief minister, despite doing this act, which is so despicable. Now, what would you really say to the mindset, the mindset of the political system? Look at the way, I mean, if you see the video which is viral, all the people who are standing by the side of Nitish Kumar, whether it was his deputy minister or his OSD, everyone is giggling as if Nitish Kumar is doing some great benevolent act by giving that appointment letter to her. And he tries to, I don't know in what capacity, with what mindset, but he immediately extends his hand and pulls the hijab from her face. And then people say that no, it wasn't done with that intention. I'm too worried about this mindset. Yes, Shaira.
Yeah, well, you refer to the Vishakha Act, which itself is not the best thing, because I've been part of various ICs. They really don't work the way they should, because again, it's an internal committee, and the only NGO partner who's from outside really doesn't have a decisive say. So they really get away. But at least there's a mechanism in place. In this case, there's no mechanism in place. That the aggrieved survivor has nowhere to turn to. The very fact that all these people are constitutional, the chief minister is a constitutional authority. So forget about the posh. He is under oath to uphold the constitution and the values enshrined in the constitution. And under the criminal laws, anybody, forget about the chief minister, anybody who does this is liable to criminal punishment. I think the FIRs which have been filed in various places, there's one in Lucknow, there's one in Telangana, another in Kashmir, they should be pursued and followed up, and the law should take its course, and finally something should come out of it. This is not a matter to be taken lightly. This is not a matter like today. Papu Yadav said that his intention was not. How does he know what was the intention? How can one what is the explanation of an intention? There's no way to say that his intention was very fatherly or good. You don't, as Sujata said, even in Indian families, fathers also, there's a restraint. Nobody should do anything. No act like this should be done without the consent of the woman. So there is no justification for this. And I think people should, especially the women's organizations and other human rights organizations, should rally around this woman, give her the support to take it up, and fight for it herself. She should, now that she has shown the courage to refuse the appointment, she should also gather the courage. And I'm sure she won't be able to do it alone unless people rally around her and her family, because times are very different, and it's not an ideal thing to take up a cause like this against the 10-time chief minister, so whose party is also in the center. So but the if the law does not take its course, then there's what do we talk about democracy? There's no democracy if the
Right.
law is not working, and a woman survivor is not given justice. She deserves justice.
Yeah. But I'll come to you, Raj Lakshmi. I've seen like the college principal in Bihar saying that the things are being blown out of proportion. Now I don't understand this logic when people say that things are blown out of proportion. What is being blown out of proportion? Either the problem is with the mindset, or the people want to normalize this kind of a behavior that it's fine. He's an old chief minister. What is the big deal if he has tried to pull the hijab from the face? Now, is it really something which is blown out of proportion, or is this an issue which the society needs to be sensitized at this point of time?
No, what is clearly out of proportion is that a person in public authority who occupies a constitutional position is sort of clearly seen misusing that authority, because because if he sort of weren't in that position, it is I mean, it is highly sort of doubtful whether he would have dared to do such a thing also. So because he feels that it gives him a certain immunity, or that it gives him a certain protection to act the way he did, he acted the way he did. So I think that is something out of proportion. Certainly, I don't think that the reactions that have come in the form of an outrage against what he did are out of proportion at all. Out of proportion is again the reactions of his own in fact bandmates in the uh, the BJP and elsewhere. I mean, for instance, a senior minister implying that using some kind of vile comparison of, I mean, I don't want to repeat that, but everybody knows, what he said. Similarly, what, Giriraj Singh also said. And I'm sure, and I'm really surprised that it's been, quite a while since the incident took place, but the CM's office, in fact, nobody from his office, that is either the CM or the CMO, or either somebody, in fact, representative of his government, has bothered to issue a statement which might be a semblance of an apology. I'm saying that apology to dur ki baat hai, but they have not even come, close to even expressing certain amount of contriteness, towards what has happened. Now clearly, there's all this talk. We've seen, how in fact the BJP and its leaders talk about women. So all this beti padhao and beti bachao and all this, given 10,000 to women beneficiaries, women entrepreneurs for that matter. Okay, this is to encourage women to work, essentially, which happened in the run up to the Bihar elections. But then, on the other hand, how cavalierly, a woman professional is being treated. She's a woman doctor. After all, she's gone there for an appointment. She's going to enter the workforce of government doctors, right? And it is here that the CM, I mean, a person, none less than the CM, does this outrageous act, essentially. I mean, of course, it is a violation of bodily integrity, no doubt. I mean, he has no business. Nobody has any business, touching any woman without a consent. And here it was highly inappropriate. It was embarrassing to the young lady also. Of course, I think it cuts across everybody. I mean, I do not think that the outrage should be confined to people of a certain community alone. I mean, I think all women here should stand. I mean, and I think they have rightly stood, as in your discussion also, behind her.
Yeah.
And I think it's high time that the BJP made some. I mean, if it sort of considers itself to be a party, I think, responsible of any value at all. I mean, it
Right.
should essentially make at least some noises, even if it doesn't believe in it. I mean, this is part of politics also, I think. I think being a
Yeah.
political party, I'm
Absolutely.
surprised
No, but
that
there
it
is
doesn't seem.
right.
Unless,
But
unless,
there
unless
is
they approach
opening
because it's a
silence.
Muslim woman, it's okay. It shows their bias, the continued bias towards a certain community. Unless it's that, which
Yeah.
yeah.
But there is a deafening silence when it comes to the BJP women MPs, the women leaders. Look at them, how silent they are. But I want to come back to the final round of questions now. I'll come to you, Tara. That what should be the ideal case in this particular situation? Should Nitish Kumar step down, or would apology be enough? Without giving him any benefit of doubt for his age or whatever. I mean, no concessions given. But what should be the ideal thing? Should he step down? Or should he say sorry and that would be enough?
Actually, Neelu, we today, because of such a systemic breakdown of our democracy, and I can't go, I mean, I just go on and on about this. Um, I, I personally would like to see how is the system reacting to a man in power who can actually flaunt this, and flout all rules and flaunt his power, and that it's a circus. But actually the alternative is, okay, so what are all these political parties doing? Where is the National Commission on Women? Where, so I think it is about how does the entire system respond. We want a robust system in place. Things will happen, people will overstep, but where are the checks and balances, and are we actually pulling up the system itself as to where are you? And for me, that is how we sustain our democracy. That is how we build integrity of not of women of all kinds, communities. I mean, we have it across. Indignity in this country has gone to a whole different low. That is because there is an absolute systemic collapse, as we all know. We don't have to go there. But the point is, what is ideal today is, and what I would really want to even work for, is how do we expect a system to respond? Where all, where are the, she's a doctor. She's a young doctor. Where are the doctors? She is of a particular community. There are, each individual is part of many circles, you know, and those many circles make the way we all are supported as part of the broader society. So, if a democracy has to function, a society has to be robust in the way we hold each other together, and we hold the system accountable. I mean, this whole government business is, all these governments are working in our name. Really? ऐसा लगता है हमें कि they are working in हमारे नाम पे तो कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. But that is how they get their power. Let us not forget that their power comes from we the people. So we
Absolutely.
have to be also pushing back. Where are we in pushing back, and not as women? I do not believe that this is just a women's issue. And this is something that we need to push back. Every time a system malfunctions, we have to
Yeah.
push back so that the system learns that they cannot get away with this.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'll come to Sujata, that look at the sensitivity of the society. How many primetime debates have we seen on this lady? What Nitish Kumar has done? At least I haven't. Maybe I've missed it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Did you see any good primetime debate being done by
No.
any of the mainstream channels on this particular issue? It seems that they are totally they've forgotten the issue. Every other issue is alive for them, but not this particular issue,
It's a
which is.
non-issue, Nilo. It's a non-issue.
So, Sujata, I want you to comment on that.
Clearly, this is a non-issue for those who are in power today. And if you actually look at the context of how this is being treated, whether it is by those who are responsible for making sure that women remain safe, and I'm talking about the National Commission for Women, the State Commission for Women, they should have taken cognizance of it. Okay, they haven't. Let's say they are influenced by the government in power, but the party in power. But what about the courts? Why can't they take suo motu cognizance in this matter when this has to do with the chief minister? Just one statement coming from a chief justice or a judge of the Supreme Court or the High Court would send out a clear message that you are not going to be treating women like they're doormats. And that is exactly what they have done. Pulling a girl's hijab the way that man did, it reeks of so much of perversion. He looked like a pervert to me. I care two hoots about what anybody has to say, but the feeling that I get every time I see that picture of him, pulling at her hijab, it's like he's trying to pull at her, pull at her cheeks, pull at her body. It sends shivers down my spine. That even today's time and age, also, we are all not going to stand on the same page. We're not going to speak for her. What society are we becoming? Is this really where we want women to go? We are 50% of this earth. And if the women in the BJP have not spoken about it, it is sad, because they will ultimately be relegated to such a position. And we have seen what has happened in the last few years since the BJP has been in power. I remember I might be in the Congress party as a spokesperson today, but when I was working as a teacher or I was a social activist, my mother was in the Congress party. And if there was one such instance somewhere, nothing to do with the party, I would go after that issue. All of us would do it, and people would encourage us to talk about it. When Nirbhaya happened, there were students of mine who were on the streets, and we were so proud of them when they were standing up to Sheila Dikshit ji in their anger, and she was facing their anger because she could understand that pain, and she, as a public representative, went there to, to accept that anger so that they would find a release in it. And the steps that were taken, that is what is required of any government. And I'm talking about a citizen at that particular time, not as a Congress spokesperson. And, the pride that we have always felt in the fact that we have fought this battle and taken it ahead, that I think has been hit really hard. And as far as mainstream media is concerned, I don't think we can expect anything much about it. Of course, I was on a show of Mr. Sandeep Chaudhary yesterday, who conducted a show, but that was all. But where is that anger amongst women is what I am so appalled to see, that nobody is, resenting the fact that a man touches a woman like that. And then there are other men who come out and say that this is the law. That means this is the law for you and me and for all of us. Really? I fight against it, and I will speak against it. I will fight against it till my last breath. That's it. And I think all of us will be together in this fight.
All right. So I'll come to Shaira and Rajlakshmi now for the concluding comment. Shaira, to you first. Again, that same question. Should Prime Minister Narendra Modi not speak to Nitish Kumar that, look, there is so much of outrage. This is something very sensitive. And I think it's better you resign or step down. Is that such a difficult proposition?
That looks like an ideal situation, but it's not going to happen, because in this government, once the silence, it's been 5 days altogether, and if this had to happen, it would have happened on the very first day. Some kind of an apology from the PMO also would have sent a signal down the in various institutions to take it seriously. He did not take any cognizance. The home minister didn't take any cognizance. So the party, the MPs, the women's commission, the judiciary, nobody. And obviously the media this is the media ideally plays an adversary role, but in this time and age, it is not an adversary. They have forgotten what they were meant, the role they were meant to play. They are playing with the government. So obviously, we don't hear any voices. So the only kind of outrage which for the outrage against the woman is very much there on the social media. People are trolling Javed Akhtar. Somebody said that even he is against Parda. So he then came out with a statement saying that, yes, I am against Parda, but I don't defend Nitish, and this is completely condemnable, and I don't support any of this, a violent act. And then the IT cell got after him. The whole day they said you're a mullah and you say that you're an atheist, but inside you're a mullah. How can you be in favor of against Parda and then not condemn and not support Nitish's act? So and this is one of the things, the whole day. And this gentleman Javed Akhtar answered each and every troll, which was very amazing in a sense. But the reaction which has come to the kind of things which has come to defend the absolutely, what I would say, the indefensible, from ministers, from a lot in the social media, which is the most alarming part, that if a man does something which is completely illegal, unconstitutional, rather than condemning, people are coming up with various arguments to support him. He's a fatherly figure. You don't, you show your face at the airport and for passport and this and that. So there's nothing wrong with it. So is this the new normal? Is it because she was a Muslim woman? We don't want to divide the issue. We don't want to make it a women's issue also. But unfortunately, the situation is such that everybody is trying to make it a very normal kind of a thing, which is completely unacceptable to people like us. And that is why we have to speak up. That's the least. A lot of women's organizations, their collectives, have come out with very strong statements, but that is about all. In olden times, in the Mathura case, in the Nirbhaya case, women used to be out on the streets.
Yeah,
but times have
absolutely.
changed. The bulldozer threat is there. putting them in behind bars or for various uh, fictitious cases. All sorts of things are happening. So whatever the ecosystem is not friendly any longer for the protest which we were very familiar with when this kind of things happened. Unfortunately, it's not there any longer. So all the statements and is all we can do at the moment.
Right. So very briefly, to you, Rajlakshmi, for the concluding comments, that again, the same question: shouldn't Nitish Kumar resign? People have been asking for his apology. People people have been saying that he should resign, but he doesn't believe in resigning, and neither will the system respond in such a way that the people at the center will advise him or will tell him. I don't know what's the reservation, but in this kind of a situation, what is the ideal thing which should be done and is not being done? To unmute, Rajlakshmi, just unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that he's going to resign as such, and I don't even think that demand is practical probably to ask. I mean, I think the pressure more should be to extract an apology from him, and because ultimately, see, our concern is what, because the signal that such behavior sends out to every person, it says essentially that people in authority, that if you're a man, yes, one, b, if you happen to be in a position of public authority, if you happen to be in a position of authority itself, you can misbehave with women, you can in fact get away with anything. You are not accountable at all. So it is this kind of a signal which should not go out ideally, and which has gone out by this action of his. Not only by the action of it has got further compounded by the fact that he has not issued an apology. Now, had the woman, had she perhaps succumbed, to pressure and made not, a big deal of the incident or whatever, or had not sort of protested about the incident, then it would have died down, essentially. But the fact that she had the courage to say that she does not want the job, and that she felt affronted by that public embarrassment. I mean, it was an embarrassing thing to be to have done in front of so many people. I mean, so it was personally an affront to her. It was an attack on her personal liberty, on her personal integrity also. Whether she happens to be uh, to be Muslim is secondary, but the fact that she happened to be a woman, and also a Muslim woman, and that her bodily integrity was violated essentially. So if it had been a woman in a gungat, and that her gungat had been thrown aside by a person in public authority, it would have been equally demeaning. Or in fact, even I think if a woman had been touched, without her consent in full public view. Okay, the consent part being the most operative part here. But the fact is that she stuck to her stand, and she said that I don't want this job at this cost. Okay, of being sort of publicly embarrassed, and of my sort of bodily integrity being affronted. So I'm saying that. So aren't those things important to be taken cognizance of? Isn't it? I think that apart, that he himself doesn't seem to realize what he's done. But here, somebody's objecting to it. A citizen of India is objecting to it, saying that what the CM did was wrong, and I don't want this job precisely because what you've done. Right. So the signal should go out in some form by some responsible public authority, that it's not done. It seems that the Supreme Court Bar Association has also issued a statement condemning what has happened. So I think more and more people would be coming out and speaking up against it, because not many people, I think, know about it also, and now it's coming out, because since the mainstream media has chosen to remain silent on this, and is considered it is non-issue. So had it been maybe a member of the opposition, they would have gone to town by now
Um,
and maybe asked for his resignation. So these kind of
No, no, in fact, Omar Abdullah did say that. What the point you just
yeah,
said, Omar Abdullah
yeah,
said that had it been a case, we would have done it. Then imagine what reaction
yeah,
BJP, how BJP would have reacted. So, well,
absolutely.
this was obviously, yeah. Yeah. You want to complete your point,
Yeah, I'm
Rajlakshmi?
done. I'm done.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let's see how this case unfolds in the coming days. But yes, the voices of protest are growing louder. There are calls for apology. Will Nitish Kumar apologize? Stepping down, of course, what Rajlakshmi says is not something which would be there on his mind, and neither will anybody ask him to step down. Gone are those days of morality and principles. But at least offer an apology, and the society should awaken to this situation that the woman's dignity is not a toy you can play with. No matter how powerful you are, you might be the chief minister, but nobody gives the chief minister a license to play around with a woman's dignity. On that note, thank you so much. I'll end it here. Thank you so much, Sujata, Tara, Shaira, Rajlakshmi. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.